What if we could live in peace always? In spite of politics and/or happenings in the world. Peace is a quality that sometimes seems more scarce than we would like it to be. And peace is something we can claim for ourselves. Think back to Jesus' day. That was not a peaceful time. The Romans had been dominating the Jewish people for a long time. And yet Jesus preached peace. Unity minister William L. Fisher said, "Peace begins with the Spirit of God within us." Thich Nhat Hanh said, "If we are peaceful and if we are happy, we can blossom like a flower. And everyone in our family and our entire society will benefit from our peace." Mahatma Gandhi said, "There is no path to peace. Peace is the path." And Jim Hendricks said, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." Peace is something that was sometimes in short supply when my two children were young and rambunctious. Remember those times? And when the children seemed to be playing together so well, and you could almost visualize halos over their heads. And just a moment later would come complete chaos, crying and screaming. How I longed then for just a moment of peace. Well, I could be patient with my girls all day. But at 9 p.m., almost like clockwork, a change would come over me. I had no patience at all. Oh, when this happened, I would tell the girls, "I am tired, girls, and I am probably going to be more cranky than I usually am. So please, follow the rules that you know. Do what you're supposed to do." And some of the time, that worked. This September in America, it seems there is a pervasive feeling of unease. I notice it when I go out to shop or for an appointment. There is so much conflicting rhetoric going on that it is often difficult to maintain the still, calm center we would like to have. Peace, be still. Several weeks ago, I was in one of our famous big box stores, and I happened to overhear a conversation between two women. They were talking about the conflict they had always had with their sisters and how it had continued to the present day. They said that sometimes there are months between contacts, and even though they try to stay away from sensitive subjects, they almost always end up quarreling again. My sister and I had one of those conflictual relationships, but we were fortunate in that back in my 40s, I was in graduate school majoring in clinical psychology. When I studied family systems, I decided to practice on my relationship with my sister. I learned to stay away from incendiary subjects, such as politics, which is often very tempting, and she and I did much better. Today, we are very close. You know, I shouldn't have needed a graduate class to tell me how to deal with my sister. All I really needed was to remind myself of the golden rule: do unto others as you would have others do to you. Simple. Another possibility for conflict is the neighborhood dog who starts barking at 1:30 a.m. and doesn't stop until at least an hour later. I see from the smiles that there are many in this congregation who have dealt with that. Well, my husband experienced that one fall in rural Glenarm. It was pouring, and it appeared the family had gone out for the evening and hadn't returned home, and the dog had no shelter. To Dave's credit, he dealt with the interruption to his sleep in a very mature manner. But we don't always do that, do we? Peace. Be still. A number of years ago, when we lived in rural Glenarm, our 13-year-old neighbor boy decided to use a BB gun to shoot the birds who were coming to our bird feeders. As soon as I discovered it, I ran over and talked to him over the fence. And I also left a message on their front door so his mother would read it when she got home from work. She called me, and we discussed the incident. Her son had just received the BB gun from his father the weekend before, and they had not yet gone over the rules for using it. The two of us met with her son, and I told him about my very strong feeling about birds. And my friend told her son she felt exactly the same way. He apologized. I accepted the apology, and this young man and I remained friends. He went on to serve in the United States Army, where he could carry and use a gun. We created peace that day for me and for the birds, for the young man and me. And we didn't damage the close relationship between his mother and me. As Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you." Think of two small children meeting each other for the first time. At first, they are wary, and they aren't sure how to relate to each other. But within 5 minutes, they are playing together happily. And you have peaceful playtime. Think also of two siblings who may start out playing happily, often cannot continue, and begin arguing over nothing. The workplace is another place where problems can occur between people. Early in my career as a therapist, I became aware of a serious situation in the clinic where a fellow child therapist was being both dishonest and unprofessional. He was meeting with young clients for over 10 or 15 minutes, and then documenting that he had met for 45 minutes. He would then wander through the office, chit-chatting with whoever was available, eating snacks and drinking soda. I pondered what to do. Luckily, in this case, when I went to the clinic director, it turned out he had discovered the infractions and dishonesty just before I did. And he had offered the young man the opportunity to resign, which he did. In the office also, there can sometimes be an atmosphere of negativity, right? Two of us Unity women, Joan Collodi and I, worked in that office where this began to happen, the county mental health office. We always met for prayers and spiritual readings before work. And we decided to take on the negative attitude and work toward creating a better working environment. From that day forward, the atmosphere in the office began to change. Oh, it didn't happen overnight. There were about 25 of us after all. But it did begin to happen. Joan and I never did indulge in criticism, demeaning comments, gossip. We never did. But we also became the two most positive people in the office. People began to get the message that good cheer was the order of the day. Our office became a pleasant place in which to work, and everyone enjoyed the changes. I am not naive enough to believe that after either of us was gone, it was possible that it would still go on, but perhaps people liked it well enough that it did. The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded one fall to the leader of Colombia, long time ago, who had been working for a long time on a peace treaty with the FARC guerrillas. They had persecuted Colombians for 40 years. That's real peacemaking, right? And there have been other special people who have received the Nobel Peace Prize. President Obama, Sister Teresa, President Jimmy Carter, and many more. We have great admiration for all these people. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, we read, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Our Unity folks also contribute a lot to making peace right where we are. Good for us. Jim Rosemurgy is the Unity minister who authored the book, The Gathering, a 40-day guide to the power of group and personal prayer. Jim is the man we have to thank for the idea for Karen Kelly's gathering meditation on Zoom every week. Jim also wrote in another publication about a time when he and several Unity companions were afloat in a small tour boat on the Sea of Galilee. Their guides had asked them to observe a few moments of silence in respect for those who had lost their lives in the Arab-Israeli conflicts. Jim Rosemurgy said that the still air and placid waters added to the wonder of the silence they experienced that day. Spontaneously, they broke the silence by singing, "Let there be peace on earth." He said, "I will never forget the spirit with which we sang that song. Perhaps it was because we were in a war-ravaged land. Or maybe it was because we knew the Prince of Peace had walked upon those waters. For whatever reason, a peace-passing understanding came upon us that day and a new insight. End of quote. He said, there is no peace in the world. Peace is of God. Perhaps the reason peace has been so hard to achieve is because most people are not familiar with the true peace that we at Unity know. The deep, true peace found only in close relationship with Spirit. I truly believe the world could be a peaceful place if person by person we would place the one presence and power at the center of our lives. Then people would sense the powerful peace within us, and it would be catching. Peace could spread, not nation by nation, but person by person. Once this true peace is part of us, we become peacemakers. And peace would spread. Of that I am certain. For now, we can come to understand better what we know about peace and to practice what we learn. Do you remember Peace Pilgrim? That was a good many years ago. But Peace Pilgrim said this, quote, I believe that peace begins with me. And I believe I'm responsible for my actions and my behavior. I believe in treating others as I want them to treat me. I believe love overcomes hatred. I believe in forgiveness of myself and others. I believe in conflict resolution rather than force. I believe that the spirit of universal power is within us, and I believe in its empowerment. I believe that all things are possible. I believe we have incredible potential and enormous inner power. I believe in gratitude and appreciation of nature's every gift, the flowers, trees, people, and animals, and birds. I believe that our thoughts become our actions. I believe that we have choices. I believe in high principles of honesty, integrity, compassion, and fairness. I believe in being assertive and that gentleness is a strength, not a weakness. End of quote. Peace Pilgrim's message was simple yet profound. And when enough of us find inner peace, world peace becomes possible. So one by one, person by person, group by group, we build peace in our world. Is it possible? The answer is yes. And we have all begun here in this very group in our own Unity of Springfield. Now I'd like to close with this poem by Dottie Fitzgerald. As thou didst calm the storm at sea, O Lord, pray calm the storms in me. Renew my hope. Teach me to cope. Grant me the strength that I may find my way through thee to peace of mind. Namaste. Dave, lead us into meditation, please. As we bow our heads, we take 1 or 2 deep breaths and completely relax our bodies. We breathe easily, gently, drawing upon the power of God within. And retreating from all concerns. May we know we are immersed in universal intelligence and infinite love. May we know our oneness with God as we pray. May we feel the presence of spirits, peace, and love. Peace. Sweet, sweet peace. Peace that surrounds us and enfolds us. Peace that is of spirit. Peace that is ours when we affirm it. We trust the widening arc of peace within and around us, a cushion for relief and rest. Nothing can disturb us. Everything draws us to peace. Let me be aware of the amazing, wondrous reality of divine wisdom. I am attuned to inner guidance. All my faculties are turned on. I listen for a certain sense of direction. I live in confidence. Every step is a trustful one. In the harmony of prayer, my heart beats to the rhythm of God. In reverence, I attune to divine intelligence within every part of my body. With each breath, I affirm life, wholeness, and well-being. And now we enter into the silence. With gratitude for the restorative power of prayer, we turn our thoughts to the days and hours ahead. We are fortified by faith, life, wisdom, peace. Peacefully we proceed. Gratefully, we conclude our prayer time. As we begin to come into the presence of this time and place, we sense the chair beneath us, the people on either side, and we open our eyes as Dave closes prayer time for us. And now, let us stand and sing our song, page 44.